Hi guys, this is my tutorial for creating a grayscale high fidelity prototype in Figma from your balsamic wireframe. So first I just have a student's mock-up on the screen to reference. Then I downloaded two different files from figma.com/resources. One was material icons and the other was UI bars. And this is to help with the design so we can go faster. You can build these shapes by hand also, but for these purposes I would recommend downloading some files that have some ready-made elements created by other designers. So right here you just see me going into the file and copying and pasting the icons that I want in my prototype from other files. I believe you can import these into Figma, but I'm actually more experienced with Sketch, so I'm just doing this for now, and so can you. It's easy. And so right here I'm just pressing Control C and Control V, and I'm making the icons a little bigger. I'm making them 35 by 35. You always want a clickable area for buttons that is 48 by 48. These are 35 by 35, but there's also a white space between them, so the clickable area will still be a pretty good size. Now I'm just dragging these, and you can see when you drag things in Figma, they can align with each other just using the red guide that pops up. So I'm getting them roughly in place, and then I will refine the alignment in a second. Okay, so now I'm selecting all of the elements, all of the bottom nav icons, and I'm aligning them so that they are distributed evenly across the horizontally. So that means that there is the equal amount of space between each icon. You can also do that vertically using the horizontal distribute tool. It's really useful. I use that tool all the time. And then I group them together as a layer. You can group anything by just pressing Command G. I think it might be Shift G. I'm on a Mac. I don't know what it is on Windows, but also, if you want to insert an artboard or insert text, all you have to do for artboard is press A. All you have to do for text is press T. It's really easy. So now I'm just adding a few more icons, making them all the same size. And then I'm aligning them using the align tools up in the corner, as you can see. Now I'm going to add a logo. This student's name for her app is Experts in Disabilities. I think that that would be hard to fit all up at the top there, so I'm going to abbreviate it and make a quick fake logo or logo placeholder. So now I want to make sure that my logo placeholder is also in line with the notification button and the hamburger at the top. So I'm making sure that's aligned right now. And I also want to make sure that vertically everything's in line on the left and right sides so that the bottom button is in line with the top hamburger. Now I'm going to just style the status bar and the top nav using a rectangle shape. So I just press R and I create a rectangle shape, and you can see on the left there I'm dragging the rectangle so it is the lowest layer, so it's on the bottom. And I'm going to make another rectangle because there are two different shapes there, so I want my I want my top nav to be a different color than my status bar, so I'm just going to change that, and I want to make sure that everything is layered correctly. I'm just going to make it a little light because we're doing grayscale, and add a little more contrast between the two colors. Okay, so that's the basic page we have designed. Now I have to recreate the body of the page here. So I'm going to just press T and write experts. And a good size for headers is 20 or 24. I'm going to then keep adding content. I just pressed Command CV and just copied and pasted the text, and now I'm changing the size to be smaller, so I'm making this 14. You always want to introduce hierarchy with your text. The header or subheader should always be bigger than the body text, so that there's like a clear relationship between what is the title of the page and what is just copy or instruction. Now I'm going to make a search bar. I just press R and I'm creating a rectangle. That will be my search bar, and I'm going to use gray in this case because I'm going to just iOS styling these days is like basically a gray search bar with a darker gray outline and a gray text with a gray icon. You can reference that online also. Apple posts all of their style guides online. So now I'm just going to find the search bar again. I could have also copied and pasted it from the design because I believe there's a search on the bottom. I probably should have done that. Okay, now I'm just going to press, I'm going down to the bottom and pressing stroke. Stroke is like a border, so it's just like a line around a shape. Sometimes a stroke is also on a line and there's no fill. If it's a very thin line, you might have to adjust the stroke color. And now I'm just going to write search. Again, Figma is my second design program, so I'm definitely a little faster in Sketch, but I wanted to give you guys something because I've had a lot of requests from students who are not on Mac. Now I'm going to change it. Text defaults to completely black, 00000 hex. So I'm just going to make it a light gray so it looks more like a search bar that we see. And then I'm going to select, now I'm going to make the category names. So I just pressed T and I started typing, but that looks a little small because that's the same size as the copy text, so I'm going to make it the size of a subheader. So now you see we have our font size is 16 for subheader, 20 for header, and 14 for body text, so you can see the different levels of text hierarchy. I'm just going to get everything roughly in place, and then I'll align everything else at the end. So you can see I'm just copying the prototype that's there on the left, just making everything by hand, and choosing fonts that are pretty and making the shapes by hand, and finding some iconography to use that doesn't look as sketch-like as balsamic. So like I said before, Command G groups things together. So you can hold down, or you can hold down your control option. I think it might be similar on Windows, and you can select different elements and group them together. So what I just did was I grouped the search bars so that the search icon, the word search, and the rectangle are all one group, and then I aligned it with experts and search by topic or name so that they were all centered on the page together. Now I'm going to create the category representation of the category. So I'm going to give this a Spotify-like feel. Spotify is really cool because they I mean, they fit a lot on one page and they scroll both horizontally and vertically in a very successful way. So now you don't really have to show horizontal scrolling by using arrows because everyone kind of knows what horizontal scrolling is now. So in order to indicate that there's more, you always want to make sure that you have your last group, your last category or horizontal element that's going to scroll a little bit off the page so that it looks like there's it looks like if you can swipe, you can scroll left and you'll see reveal the full shape. And that's how you indicate to people that there's more these days, rather than using arrows. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to design that right now. So I'm creating these shapes just by pressing R, rectangle, and now I'm going to press T and create a category name placeholder for on top of the rectangle. And then I align that by selecting, oh, I also realized what I did there was I was realizing that the category name should look different than the subtitle, popular categories recently viewed and saved experts, so I quickly changed the color. With grayscale, you can make things stand out still and differentiate. It doesn't all have to be the same color gray, and that will help give your design a fuller feel. And then you can just, once you have a base design like I did, I had all three rectangles with titles, I just selected everything. Usually you can select everything by just hovering over everything with your mouse held down and then copying and pasting. So I'm just copying and pasting because everything and making sure, now I'm making sure that the rectangles are the same distance from the title, and you can do that by holding down one element and pressing Control, and it should show you the distance in pixels between things. And then now you can see I'm just aligning everything to the left margin to make sure everything's all lined up. And it is, so it looks good. Now I'm just going to finish off this screen by adding some shading to the bottom nav also that matches the top nav. So I just pressed R, created a rectangle, and now I'm dragging the rectangle all the way to the bottom so that the icons are on top. And I'm selecting it and changing the color of the rectangle to match the top. And that's it. That's a one-page example of how to transform a balsamic wireframe to a high fidelity wireframe in Figma. And at the end of every design, I always make sure the alignment is correct. You will be aligning a lot as a UX designer.